I hate it when the theme does that. Happy Tuesday, everybody. It is the 12th day of December 2017. It's down the road we go. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz, your host. Steve Hare to my immediate left. Kat is in the control room. Good morning to you, Steve.
Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, otherwise known as, where's my coffee, Lynette?
Steve and I get up early.
Oh, really?
Caitlin gets up early. Everybody who does this show gets up early. You and I learned a long time ago, you can't go on the air looking tired.
No.
You can't do it. You got to be down the road and on it.
It's getting harder, though, the older I get.
Yeah.
You know?
Great show for you today.
Yeah.
We hope. I don't know. We're going to find out together here over the course of the next hour as we broadcast live here from Studio 3 in downtown Wenatchee. Lisa Abel from Bruce Transitional Housing is patiently standing by in the green room, which isn't green, but she's there. She'll be on the second half of the show to talk about Bruce Transitional Housing. They're one of the three beneficiaries from the WUWV Community Toy Drive, so we're happy to help them out, and we'll talk all things Bruce with Lisa.
A lot of bicycles out there, new bicycles for kids.
Yeah, boy, what a party they had on Saturday and Sunday, I should say, at Sangster Motors. Eric Granstrom, our general manager, was there, and they got all these bikes.
Yeah.
The bikes wasn't the problem. The bikes were still in the boxes. And nobody wants to get a brand new bike on Christmas morning and then have to put it together. The first thing you want to do is just ride it. So,
I'm not good at inserting tab A into slot B.
Yeah, that's not your skill set. No. But they had a bunch of people who were really big and strong and happy and helpful. And on pretty much all day on Sunday at Sangster Motors, they put all of these bikes together. So the bikes will be already built for Christmas morning.
At least no batteries included.
That's true. That's true. What was the old joke? I went and bought batteries the other day. They weren't included.
That's right.
I had to buy them again. The weather forecast is coming up. The air stagnation advisory was extended yet again yesterday, now through Friday. Can't seem to bust out of this. There is some change in the weather by the time we get to the weekend. The big dome of high pressure is keeping anything. Don't play with that, Steve.
Is that what this is for?
That's not for you. That's not a toy, Steve. A big dome of high pressure, so things come in and they hit that dome and they go around the other side of it, and we just sit here with cloudy and cloudy and cloudy. Yesterday's high 30, yesterday's low 28. Perfect example of what we're dealing with. Just a 2-degree variation on the high and the low, and that's still going to be happening for the vast majority of this week. So forecast details are coming up. We got your past report, got sports coming your way. It's a pretty light sports schedule. Most of it will be Seahawks related. Pete Carroll's press conference yesterday talking about the debacle at the end of the Jacksonville game on Sunday. We'll have that on sports. We have your obscure holiday, birthdays, today in history. We'll talk about the WUWV Community Toy Drive. We will profile another one of the great Wenatchee businesses that we invite you to shop here for the holiday season. How is your Christmas shopping doing?
So far, so good.
Good.
Really well. Did a little shopping for the parents yesterday. Yeah.
I got to take care of that. I got some odds and ends, most of it done, but I still have to go out and get some stuff this weekend. I'm a little behind schedule.
Still got some stocking stuffers to pick up.
That's always the hardest part of all.
Those are fun.
Yeah.
Those are fun.
Yeah. I buy strange stuff.
You too?
Stocking. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Well, I have a little catalog that I buy my more obscure gifts from.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. What catalog is it? Do you mind sharing?
It's called Think Geek. Check it out. You'll love it.
Think Geek.
Think Geek.
That has the Steve Hare seal of approval, which is probably not a good thing for Think Geek. We'll add that right now.
Says something about me, too, I say.
You ready to go around the valley?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Not
courtesy
too fast,
of,
though.
Courtesy of Localtel Sky-Fi high-speed wireless internet. The cameras are up and running this morning. Don't tell me because we have to guess. Steve, what is that? What are we looking at? Is that Wenatchee?
I'm looking down from the cross.
Yes, that is, of course.
Heights,
Here's a little story. Back in my youth, we used to go up to where the cross is, and we would hit golf balls onto the Alcoa Highway.
That's quite a driving range.
Yeah, it was, and I apologize for anybody whose car I may have hit, but this was 1981, and I think the statute of limitations
I don't think
out
so,
on that.
Dan. I think it's still alive. There.
Uh-oh.
Still under investigation.
Better call my attorney. Camera number 2. Beautiful downtown Wenatchee. Looking to the north, that is from the roof of the Cascadian in downtown Wenatchee. You can see the very tip there, Steve. You can see the Numerica Performing Arts Center. That's within view as we look up the avenue. Pretty light commute this morning, isn't it? Well, it's still early.
Still early.
Sunrise, by the way, isn't until like 7:35 or 7:40. Yeah, we're always
taken from the camera on the Cascadian.
Yep.
Which is,
We have 2 of them.
General neighborhood of the Bruce, and that's
Yep.
the topic of your...
That's our topic when Lisa's on the show, the second half of the program. Camera 3 is Leavenworth, Washington.
There we are. There's the Bavarian capital of Chelan County.
I still cannot believe the traffic on Saturday was unbelievable.
2-hour drive between Wenatchee and Leavenworth.
I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised at all. I went, of course, to the Snowy Owl Family Christmas Show on Saturday. And of course, driving from Leavenworth to Wenatchee was a piece of cake, no problems at all. But it was a sea of headlights heading into the Bavarian Village. The traffic was backed all the way up to the Shell station at the Big Y, so 5 miles maybe?
Testing everybody's goodwill.
Oh, geez. And so some folks said, I know what I'm going to do when I get to Beshaston. I'm going to take North Road and take the back way in, right?
Good luck.
That was packed. It was just, kudos to those people who had the patience to sit through that incredible traffic jam.
It's quite a love affair that people are having Christmas time with Leavenworth.
And the funny thing is that was people coming from the Wenatchee Valley into Leavenworth. That was coming to westbound. What about the people who were coming from the Puget Sound area through the Tumwater Canyon? What was that line like?
Wow.
Anyway, so they're done with that now, right? The official tree
No,
line.
you know that I think they have it every weekend now through Easter.
Oh, through Easter, yeah. Camera number 4 takes us to, at this point, I'm starting to lose track. That, of course, is Billy Goat Ridge, which has become one of our favorites.
Somewhere down there is Pateras, right?
Yes, that is pointing almost directly east. Sometimes we have it tilted just a little bit to the northeast. So on a clear day, you can see Brewster, you can see way up the Columbia River. In fact, on a clear day, you can see forever. Somebody said that.
There in the foreground, you can see the vestiges of the old wildfire.
Yeah.
I think that was the Carlton, wasn't it?
Yeah, I want to say 2015, 2014, right around there. Yep. Good morning, Pateras. Trust us, you're there. You're just under the cloud cover, and that's what we're dealing with. The air stagnation advisory, again, was extended yesterday. It was supposed to expire at noon Thursday. It's now been extended until 10 a.m. Friday morning because of that ridge of high pressure that's just given us that stagnant air. It's something that we're used to around here. It's usually, though, a January, February kind of phenomenon. No, it's not so much in December. And because we're still in autumn. People keep forgetting that. We're not, we haven't hit winter yet.
No.
We have not at all. Your
Well,
forecast,
I'm sure the folks down in California will be glad when our stagnant air is over, huh?
Yeah, because that means they're going to get a break as well.
That's right.
Because that big high pressure ridge, as we talked about, that's affecting our weather here, is affecting the weather in Southern California.
They could really use some moisture right now.
Yeah, bad. Oh boy, do they need rain. So no rain here, no nothing here except that. There you go. Just nothing to talk about. Cloudy, 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 cloudy. Maybe a little bit of precipitation Thursday night and Friday. Friday is the transition day, Steve. Notice that we have a couple of raindrops in there and slightly warmer temperatures. And that's when that high pressure ridge, it's not so much going to break down as it's going to flatten out. And as it flattens out, then it has an opportunity for other weather, winds and stuff to knock it out of position. And so by the time we get to Saturday and Sunday, we're still going to be stuck with the clouds. Notice how we don't see a great deal of sunshine there, but the temperatures will be considerably warmer and the chance of precipitation increases.
Also, just to let you know that the Department of Ecology still has that stage 1 burn ban in effect. They're saying now that it's possibly could be lifted by the end of the work week.
Okay, that's good news. We just need to have the air stirred up. We need something to make the air mix around a little bit, and that's finally going to happen Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You notice we don't see any snowflakes at all on those graphics because there's none in the forecast. That's the Wenatchee Valley forecast. As far as the mountain passes are concerned, 2 things we want to remind you of. Number 1, when you take the mountain passes, please, ladies and gentlemen, use an automobile. It's just common sense. No problems. It's fine. No advisories, no restrictions. I got it right here. There's your pass cams. You got nothing to worry about. Occasional patch of frost here and there. You know, foggy conditions, certainly visibility could be an issue. There's Stevens Pass. Look how foggy it is there. So you have to drive through the low clouds and the fog as you work your way up into the mountain passes. But of course, this all burns off mid to late morning, Steve, and then you get sunshine in the afternoon. And a little bit cooler temperatures, but lots of sunshine. That's if you need your dose of sun, that's where you got to go. You got to go up. If you go north, south, east, or west, you're not going to find any sunshine. But if you go up, you will.
And in fact, if you're driving east towards the Spokane area, apparently they've got some freezing fog over there, and that's posing some travel problems with frozen pavement.
And I also have freezing fog right between my ears this morning.
Yeah.
Need to get that taken care of. As far as snow in the mountain passes, wouldn't you know it, Friday night, they're going to get 2 to 4 inches. Just in the nick of time when people head over to the other side to do whatever it is they want to do for the weekend. 2 to 4 inches possible on Friday into Friday night. That's the next chance of measurable precipitation. And then light sprinkles for the Cascades. Here in the Wenatchee Valley for the weekend, we're going to get some light rain. The Cascades are going to get some light snow. No real significant snowfall. And that 2 to 4 inches they're thinking for Friday and Friday night, that's Stevens Pass. So I-90 could get less or a little bit more. It's all variable. It is 10 minutes after the hour. Boy, there was a lot of news last night. We had news crews everywhere last night covering specifically the Eastmont School Board meeting. We'll have that story and other stuff with this guy to my left, Steve here. The news on this Tuesday morning is 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, live from Studio 7 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel. Don't play with that, Steve. That's not a toy. Contractors, furniture makers, and weekend do-it-yourselfers around north central Washington will tell you that Lombard's Hardwood Supply is the place to get what you need. Lombard's full millwork shop can handle jobs large or small. Lombard's has a full line of interior and exterior doors available, as well as custom barn doors. From alderwood to zebrawood and everything in between, it's Lombard's Hardwood Supply on School Street in Sunny Slope. Like us on Facebook and check out our monthly special.
This is the NCW Life Community Calendar brought to you by Local Telecommunications. Saturday, December 16 is the Robert Dixon Memorial Christmas Dinner at the Wenatchee Masonic Center from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. This free event is open to everyone. Happening at Pybus Sunday, December 17 is the Wenatchee Valley Empty Bowls Community Painting Party. Paint a ceramic bowl with friends and family to help fight hunger in the community. For more information and other community events, visit ncwlife.com.
And now it's time for your local news update with Steve Hare.
Good morning and welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Again, I'm Steve Hare. Our top stories here in north central Washington today. It's been a hot button topic in the Wenatchee Valley now for months. Should the Eastmont School Board change the name of Robert E. Lee Elementary School in East Wenatchee? Well, at last night's regularly scheduled board meeting, Superintendent Garn Christensen recommended that the school board consider a modification of the school's name to simply Lee School. Christensen says not only is the name modification a compromise between changing the name completely or not changing it at all, he says the modification is also much more cost-effective to the school district than placing it on a general election ballot.
It is a compromise, and my experience is when you're in public service, life is a constant, and your work is rarely getting your own way 100%. It's constant compromise. It's making modifications. When we talked about building the definition of the school around the name of as a protected place, the lee side of a rock, we're going to go on the lee side of the storm to park the ship in the harbor. That makes sense to me. I like that definition. I think we all look at our homes as a protected place, and I see our schools as a protected place. Much less costly. It's moving some words and some letters off of a building. It's making almost all of our letterhead is electronic. We have students throughout the district that have Lee school shirts. We wouldn't need to replace those. So yes, it's a lot less costly. And to take an item and put it on a ballot can range anywhere from $10,000 to $80,000, depending upon the time of the year and how many items are on a ballot.
There was no formal action taken at last night's meeting. Annette Eggers and Cindy Wright, board members, wanted time to consider it further and get more input from school district residents. In fact, newly elected board president Chris Gibbs favored the change to Lee. He went even a step further, proposing that the name of Ulysses S. Grant Elementary also be changed to simply Grant Elementary School. New board vice president Steve Piccirillo maintained his position that the name not be changed in any form. The school board will once again take up this matter at their next regularly scheduled board meeting. That'll be on January 8th. In fact, that meeting will be held at Grant Elementary School. Last night at the Numerica Performing Arts Center in Wenatchee, 58 immigrants became naturalized as citizens of the United States. Led by Norma Gallegos and Keith Brown, the event hosted the St. Joseph's Choir, and keynote speaker Chelan County Sheriff Brian Burnett was there. Jay Seebeck spoke with Marco Gonzalez, with Kay Lee Contreras as the interpreter.
It is my honor to welcome each of you new American citizens to our precious little theater, and to congratulate you all on the hard work that you have endured to arrive at this distinguished moment.
And remember, it doesn't matter as much what you do, but rather how we do it. Congratulations and God bless you.
What's kind of been the the biggest thing that's been weighing on your mind through this whole process?
Es muy importante ser ciudadano, porque tienes un valor, te das otra, llevas otra visibilidad, te enfocas en otros, eres un punto más. Y es muy importante que todas las personas tomemos esta decisión y que decidamos llegar a ser a la ciudadanía, que nos lo propongamos. No es muy difícil, simplemente son nomás nervios. Es de enfocarse y solamente nomás decir, lo voy a hacer, y lo puedes hacer.
The biggest thing is obviously family support, but when you put yourself to say, I'm going to do it, and he finally does it. And it is very nerve-wracking, but once you go through training and studying and then finally taking that test and just knowing that now you're not just a non-citizen, you're something part of a bigger community, and that was a great change for Marcos.
And that I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, so help me God. Congratulations, you are now citizens of the United States.
Thanks to J.C. Beck for covering that event last night at the Numerica Performing Arts Center at Wenatchee. You can watch the full naturalization ceremony on next week's edition of NCW Life's magazine. Washington State Patrol Trooper Connor Brookman sustained minor injuries Sunday night when he was rear-ended by an alleged impaired driver on US 97 near Okanagan. It was around 6:10 in the evening. Trooper Brookman was northbound following slower traffic when 18-year-old Dakota Simpson of Okanagan, also northbound, rear-ended his patrol vehicle. The trooper was treated, released at Mid-Valley Hospital in Okanagan. He'll be recovering at home for the next couple of days. Simpson was not injured in the crash, but was arrested for driving under the influence of marijuana and depressants. He was booked into the Okanagan County Jail for DUI. Also, Douglas County Deputy Prosecutor Gordon Edgar is looking to advance to the top job next year. Edgar has filed as a candidate for the position of county prosecutor with the Washington State Public Disclosure Commission. Edgar, whose full name is Walter Gordon Edgar, is a graduate of Brigham Young University. He received his law degree from Northwestern School of Law at Lewis and Clark College. He was in private practice and a former deputy prosecutor in Chelan County prior to taking that job with the Douglas County Prosecutor's Office. Edgar is active in coaching youth soccer. He also plays and coaches basketball, baseball, football, and is a performer and director with the Mission Creek Players Theater Group. The county's current prosecutor, Steve Clem, has not announced yet if he plans to run for re-election next year. Also, there's a change of leadership coming to Chelan County Fire District 1. It was announced Friday that Douglas County Fire District 2 Assistant Chief Fire Marshal Brian Brett has been selected to replace Mike Burnett. Burnett is retiring from the department in 2019. Brett will succeed him starting in July. Brett will serve as deputy chief until that time. Burnett told the Wenatchee World that he planned to continue in firefighting as a member of the Pacific Northwest Type 3 Incident Management Team. Brett's position in Douglas County is being filled by Kurt Blanchard. Well, local firefighters are on the fire lines in California. A lot of crews from eastern Washington are seen here, actually, driving to California, where they've been deployed to help battle the epic wildfires in Southern California. Here you see them heading southbound along the highway there. And crews from Chelan County number 1, Chelan Fire and Rescue, Kennewick Fire, Walla Walla Fire, Richland Fire, and Benton County number 1 headed to Ventura, California on Friday for a 2-week assignment. And here's a shot right now of a 747 tanker dropping retardant on the fire lines there in Southern California. Just a dramatic shot there of that huge aircraft and what a payload it carries of retardant there. But again, desperate times call for desperate measures, and they're throwing everything they can at those fires down in California right now, but a lot of them still raging out of control. The largest The Thomas Fire, which has been burning in California now for, gosh, a good week now, is over 180,000 acres, and yet it's only 15% contained.
They need rain and they need calm winds.
They really do.
Yeah. Well, they are going to get the calm winds. The winds are going to calm down by the time they get to this weekend, but there's no precipitation in the forecast for Southern California that I was able to see.
That's what they need. But then when the rains come in California, as we all know, that's when the mudslides start as well. Because
absolutely. Hang in there, Southern California. We're thinking of you. Check out the bottom of your screen. What you see there are the various ways you can get a hold of us. And we do love to hear from you. We really do. Facebook message us. We get a lot of those. Email us directly. Pick up the telephone. Give us a call. If you go to our website, ncwlife.com, two things we want to remind you of. Number one, there's a contact us bar on our website. You click on it and you just contact us and we all get it. So you can chime in on our TV station. That's the first thing. And the second thing, you want to put aside some time when you get to our site. There's a lot of cool stuff on it. 4 or 5 hours, easy. I would start right when you get to work today. Just hop onto ncwlife.com with your cup of coffee. The day will just fly right by.
And then you can exchange your thoughts on Facebook, because
Absolutely.
those same stories you see on our website are linked on Facebook, and so certainly you can join that conversation with us.
And if you simply don't have 4 or 5 hours in the middle of your working day to just surf around our award-winning website. Has our website won an award? Yeah, it did. It won an award.
Wow.
You can watch the news with Grant Olson at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. The news with Grant Olson right here, Monday through Friday on the NCW Life channel.
We're getting a sunrise. Look at that.
Isn't that gorgeous? See, we're getting there. We're not quite yet. It's 21 after the hour, just about 22 after the hour. Sunrise is for still another 10 minutes. That is, of course, as we mentioned before, Billy Goat. That's just insane. Isn't that just a beautiful view? I would build a house there if I could. The one thing I wouldn't want to do is plow the driveway in the wintertime.
No,
you know, about 6 miles of switchbacks. We're not going to do that anyway. 22 minutes after the hour, going to take a quick 1-minute break. When we come back, sports and everything else that you're so used to on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, live from Studio 9 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel. We'll be right back. And we are back on this Tuesday morning edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley for this 12th day of December 2017. I'm Dan Kuntz. Sports! Some early prep action today in girls bowling. Wenatchee is at Sunnyside, and they start at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Eastmont will be at West Valley. They get going at 3 o'clock this afternoon. It's usually a pretty light schedule on Tuesday in the world of prep. Some boys swimming today. Eastmont will be at Moses Lake today at 4. Wrestling. A double duel at Cascade. The Kodiaks will be welcoming Chelan, Okanagan, and Kashmir. That starts at 6 o'clock. Also tonight, Sunnyside is at Eastmont. That begins at 7. And for the first time live right here on the NCW Live channel, we're going to endeavor to do live wrestling between Wenatchee and Davis, and that begins at 7 o'clock tonight. There's also girls basketball going on. Chelan is at Clay Elum. Cascade is at Kashmir. Tenasket at Waterville Mansfield. Manson takes on Lake Roosevelt on the boys' side. Pretty much the same schedule, just a little bit later on in the evening, with Chelan at Clay Elum. Cascade is at Kashmir in a Caribou Trail League action. Tenasket is at Waterville Mansfield, and boys basketball, and of course Manson is at Lake Roosevelt. Pete Carroll met with reporters Monday at the team's facility in Renton to discuss Sunday's 30-24 loss to Jacksonville. He started off by saying what happened at the end of the game was simply not tolerable.
I really don't like the way the game ended for us, and we never want to see football games look like that. And you know, the level that we play at, you know, that's not an excuse for going over the top like that. And so all these guys have heard that and they understand that, and we don't ever want to look like that.
Did you get a chance to see the video of the Jefferson incident, and if so, what was your take on that? Yeah,
I thought that was wrong. You know, wrong. He was wrong. I've talked to him about it. You know, professional athletes, you know, people can say whatever they want to say, and they can, you know, that's kind of just what comes along with it. You have to be able to deal with it as professionally, and he lost it, and he feels terrible about it. You know, it's not the kind of kid he is, and he just you know, emotionally got overrun, and he lost it. Fortunately, you know, people restrained him, you know, and all that, and it's a tremendous learning opportunity for him and the other young guys.
As far as the game itself, Pete Carroll said there was the good and there was the not so good, and he really thought the Seahawks were going to come all the way back.
We thought it had the makings of a defensive battle, and it was for a while, and then it kind of turned a little bit. The offenses kind of took over somewhat, and big plays started showing up and made a difference in the game. It's a really good, hard-fought game. I really like their team. The way they played and the commitment they have to their emphasis is really clear, and you can tell who they're trying to be, and they were ready to battle, and so were we, and we felt like we were mounting one of those comebacks in the fourth quarter, to write a real story, and unfortunately we couldn't finish it.
Battle for first place in the NFC West comes up this Sunday as the Seahawks will host the Los Angeles Rams. 28 minutes after the hour. The obscure holiday of the day today. There are two things that grow in the ground that we associate with Christmas. One, of course, is Christmas trees, and the other is poinsettias. And this is Poinsettia Day today. It's always on December 12th because on December 12th, 1851, Joel Roberts Poinsett died. But he was the one who brought poinsettias to North America anyway, certainly to the United States. He was the very first ambassador to Mexico. And he saw these plants growing native in Mexico, and he brought a bunch of them back to his plantation. He had a big greenhouse and plantation in Greenville, South Carolina. He would grow them and then give them out to friends, and it began to spread from there. According to folklore, the story is this. The little poor girl who had nothing to bring to church for Christmas services, on her way to church, she picked up some plants by the side of the road. As she entered the church, the leaves miraculously turned red from poinsettias. It is Poinsettia Day today. By the way, keep them away from your pets if they like to eat plants around your house, because poinsettias are very poisonous. Don't eat them. 29 minutes after the hour. It is December 12th, 2017. Let's do Today in History. And we want to wish happy birthday to the great state of Pennsylvania, the second state in the Union. 5 days after Delaware said, "We're in," Pennsylvania ratified the United States Constitution and became the second state of the United States 230 years ago. Of course, Pennsylvania is known as the Keystone State, one of 4 states who refer to themselves as commonwealths, not states. Pennsylvania is one of them. The other 3 are Virginia, Kentucky, and Massachusetts. And maybe the more interesting fact about Pennsylvania is the continuing decline in the population. 100 years ago, Pennsylvania was the second largest state in America. They had 38 electoral votes. Now they just have 20. which is pretty indicative of the industrial Northeast, as you might imagine. So they have lost 45% of their electoral clout over the last 80 years. Now they only have 20 electoral votes. They were as much as 38 at one time, and they're probably going to lose another one when the 2020 census comes around. But we love Pennsylvania anyway. Happy birthday, Pennsylvania, 230 years ago today. And 17 years ago today, the Supreme Court of the United States, in a 5-4 decision, gave the presidential election to George W. Bush in the opinion of Bush v. Gore. Not going to comment on that. I'm just stating that as a fact. It happened on this date in the year 2000, 30 minutes after the hour. Birthdays for this December 12th. The greatest singer of the 20th century, Francis Albert Sinatra. Not just a singer, an actor and a producer. Frank Sinatra was born in this state in 1915, passed away at the age of 82 in 1998, and he lived life his way. One of the great fallacies of Frank Sinatra is that he was just a singer, you know, he would just sing, but he was not. He was a musician as much as Elvis Presley was a musician, and by that I mean Frank Sinatra always insisted on performing and singing and recording live with the band. He wasn't standing in front of the band and letting the band play around him. He was leading the band, just like Elvis did. He always insisted on recording live in the studio with the band until very late in his career, so remember that. He did it all, movies, TV shows, of course, Las Vegas. 100 years from now, all we're going to think about with Frank Sinatra is music, and that's his lasting impression. The greatest singer of the 20th century, Frank Sinatra, born in the state of 1915. Rory Kennedy is 49 years old today. Rory Kennedy was the 10th and youngest child of Robert and Ethel Kennedy. The Kennedy curse has been very difficult on Rory as much as anybody. She's a great, she's a filmmaker, a documentary filmmaker, and a very, very good one, Rory Kennedy is. But the Kennedy curse has struck her as bad as anybody else in the Kennedy family. Obviously, she never knew her father. She was born 6 months after her father was murdered. Her brother David died of a drug overdose. She was skiing with her brother Michael on New Year's Eve 1997 when Michael struck a tree and was killed. She gave him CPR and tried to save his life. Think about that. And of course, her cousin John F. Kennedy Jr. was flying to Rory Kennedy's wedding in 1999 when his plane went down. So it's been a rough go for Rory Kennedy, but she's a great filmmaker, and we want to wish her a happy 49th birthday today. 32 minutes after the hour. Don't forget, my guest in the second half of the show is Lisa Abel, the director of the Bruce Transitional Housing. This could be a great conversation. You do not want to miss that. Also, everybody's entitled to Mike Minotti's opinion. But before we get to that, I want to talk about Clark's Jewelry in downtown Wenatchee on Palouse. Clark's Jewelry. They've been around since 1977, so happy 40th anniversary to Clark's. It's family owned, family operated. Buy your rings, buy your diamonds locally. And of course, nothing says Christmas to that special someone than a special piece of jewelry that you're going to find at Clark's Jewelry. And boy, do they take pride in their work. They're also authorized Citizen Watches dealers. It's a great store. Don't take my word for it. Pop by and see them at Clark's Jewelry right next to the Liberty in downtown Wenatchee. And Clark's Jewelry, like all the businesses that we're profiling over the holidays, independently owned, independently operated. These folks work hard for you, and they take great pride in what they do. Check out Clark's Jewelry. And although it's not a good idea to buy jewelry and put it in the Les Schwab Community Toy Drive box, you can if you want. Maybe some kids do want jewelry. The Les Schwab Community Toy Drive is underway. It's been going great, thanks to you. We want to keep the momentum going. Wherever you're out and about, do your Christmas shopping, buy a new unwrapped toy, and put it in the big box. You'll find them everywhere. Both Les Schwab locations, here, the Wenatchee World, Sangster Motors, Columbia Valley Community Health, Country 104.7 KKRV. Hooked on Toys, of course, is a great place. And also Wenatchee Wild Games. Wenatchee Wild Games this weekend at the Town Toyota Center. They will have a collection box there. Now, there is a specific, we're doing really good on some of the younger kids, but we need now a few more toys for older kids, 8th grade and above. And if you don't really sure what to get, there's a checklist here. You can cut that out of the Wenatchee World, or you can go to the Les Schwab Community Toy Drive Facebook page. It gives you all the ideas. So we're doing really good for the younger kids, the toddlers and the 6, 7, 8-year-olds, that kind of deal. But the 8th grade and up, where we need more of those kinds of toys. So when you're out and about, get that new unwrapped toy. And one of the beneficiaries, by the way, of the Les Schwab Community Toy Drive is Bruce Transitional Housing. And they're going to be joining us here in just about 5 minutes. Lisa Abel is patiently standing by. That conversation when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, live from Studio 15 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Live channel. Cottage Inn has been a Wenatchee Valley landmark since 1940, making it one of the longest-running locally owned restaurants around. And it's better than ever. Steak, seafood, and their famous homemade desserts for dinner, wonderful lunch items, and breakfast on Sundays, all made from scratch and at an affordable price. It's no wonder the Cottage Inn has been so popular for over 75 years. Enjoy a fabulous meal today at the Cottage Inn on Easy Street in Old Station.
Hi, I'm Blair from Works, your workout prescription. Have you ever started an exercise program and struggled to keep it going? So what if I told you that with this MyZone device, I could increase your chances of self-motivated exercise adherence by over 200%. Combine that with an exercise prescription specifically for your level of readiness, we'll increase it even more. And that's our new member success system. It's $99. It's exclusively at Works. It includes your MyZone belt. Works. YourWorkoutRx.com.
Hi, this is Carl.
And Kathy from East Wenatchee Grocery Outlet. We are excited to be a part of this wonderful community and look forward to meeting you at East Wenatchee Grocery Outlet.
Our store is filled with name brand products at bargain prices at 40 to 60% savings. We have a large selection of natural, organic, and specialty foods.
Stop by and meet Carl, the wine guy, on Wednesday.
East Wenatchee Grocery Outlet, where you can win what you saved. Stop by soon.
Just because it's cold outside doesn't mean your golf game has to go cold. Keep your swing in midsummer shape all winter long with the Golf Simulator at the Golfer's Edge. PGA golf professional Ed Payne can help you fine-tune your swing or overhaul your clubs. And for the golfer on your Christmas list, a Golfer's Edge gift card is a great fit. New clubs, new shoes, new clothes from Tanya's Corner, and time on the Golf Simulator. Hey, it's all at the Golfer's Edge on Mission between Kittitas and Yakima.
Having a relationship with your pediatrician is so important. Feeling that sense of trust, that is priceless. I tell everybody about CBCH. I love it there. When I make an appointment, I don't have to take an entire day off. As a working mom, my life is really busy. Family time is everything. That's what we all work towards. And I feel like CBCH respects that.
Christmas is charming. Christmas is Santa Claus. Christmas is collectible. Christmas is whimsical. Capture Christmas at Kris Kringle.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, there's been some stuff recently about men who, due to their Christian convictions, have made a pledge to their wives never to be alone with another woman, not even willing to be alone with some gal in an elevator or something like that. Now, part of the reason is due to avoid temptation. Well, I don't know about you, but I kind of think that possibly recognizing that temptation exists, and as it's going to show up where you least expect it, a better choice might be to say that out of love and respect for my spouse and my marriage vows, I'm going to be a good boy, regardless of who I'm confronted with. I mean, if your commitment is so weak that you have to be careful on elevators, well, maybe you should take the stairs. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Join us for Street Talk and Other Stuff with Mike Magnotti on the NCW Life channel. This former police sergeant is plugged into not only the world of the streets, he's an actor and connoisseur of the arts. So join Mike and his guest for, well, Street Talk and Other Stuff. Mondays at 10 a.m., Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m., and Wednesdays at 5:30. It's Street Talk and Other Stuff with Mike Magnotti on the NCW Life channel.
Lake Chelan mailboxes find solutions and the best price for all your shipping needs.
including UPS, FedEx, and the U.S. Postal Service. We offer a variety of services including quality copies of all sizes, faxing, scanning, sending and receiving email, laminating, and notarizing. Enjoy browsing through our large selection of greeting cards. Lake Chelan Mailboxes supports our military, fire victims, and our community.
See us at the Plaza in Chelan for all your holiday needs.
The 2017 Ski-Doo Summit sleds. Next generation REV platform. The most powerful two-stroke engine in the industry. For the unmatched handling and power to own the next side hill, the next drop, the next ride. Ski-Doo. What matters is what's next.
And we are back on this Tuesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Koontz. A couple of weeks ago, our general manager, Eric Granston, walked into my office with Lisa Abel's business card. And he said, you know, Bruce Transitional Housing is going to be one of the 3 groups that we're going to give a bunch of presents to with the Les Schwab Community Toy Drive. You should have Lisa on your show. She's very interesting and a good guest to have. And I said, okay. And here she is. Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
Welcome to the program. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Off camera, just about 45 minutes ago when Lisa was here, we do our show prep, which is when we mic people up and we camera blocking and everything. You and I started to talk about your background, and I was fascinated. And you're comfortable talking about your background, Lisa. So a little bit about, before we get into Bruce Transitional Housing, a little bit about Lisa Abel. It's an inspiring story.
Well, I came from a middle-class family.
Here in Wenatchee?
Yes, here in Wenatchee. I wasn't born here, but I was raised here my whole life. Got married, had a couple kids, and when that marriage broke up, some past trauma from my childhood came up, and I ended up addicted to drugs, mentally ill with PTSD, and homeless. And I ended up getting into the Bruce. And that's the first place that I ever found somebody who really cared, and that helped me with my mental health, helped me to get clean. And now I have put myself through college, just graduated from Central Washington University in March.
Congratulations.
And through a friend who was the previous director at the Bruce, this job fell into my lap like that. And so for me, that's full circle. That's full circle. And being somebody who has been there and lived there, I just feel like it's the greatest opportunity that I can help people the same way I was helped.
Well, you bring the most important skill, which is knowledge and empathy. You know exactly what these women are going through because you were there yourself.
Yes.
You were there yourself. Yes. And that's, let's talk about that right off the top, because the vast majority of the residents in the Bruce are there through no real fault of their own.
No.
Life dealt, they may have been like you, nice middle class kids, and then, you know, life can be nasty sometimes, and things happen, right?
Absolutely.
So, so tell me about your job. Give me an idea of what Lisa does on a day-to-day basis.
Well, I go into work every morning at 8:30 and meet with residents. At 8:30, we have a little breakfast club, update them on services that we provide, like taking them to laundry, you know, the food bank, you know, other things that are going on through the day. And then we break, and I just kind of deal with things as they're thrown at me. My door's always open to residents if they have a problem, if they need to talk, or if they just want to hang out for a little bit because they're bored. But yeah, we help them with food and connect them to all kinds of services.
You and I remember the Bruce growing up as it was just a hotel. It was a flea bag, as they would say.
Oh yeah.
You know, it was one of those $5 a night sleep here kind of places. And now it's been Bruce Transitional Housing for how long now?
Oh, geez, I'm not
sure. I want to say 25 years, maybe something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Before Bruce Transitional Housing existed, were there options for women with children in that kind of situation in the Wenatchee Valley, or was there no place to go?
I don't believe there was any place for them to go.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So what did they do before the Bruce?
I have no idea.
Oh,
I have no idea. I think a lot of people had to, you know, stay in homes with domestic violence because they didn't really have any other choice, you know. And mental health, if you're mentally ill, you know, 25 or 30 years ago, there's a stigma attached to that, that you're just a bad person if you're mentally ill or something.
Yeah.
But that's just not the case.
So a resident of the Bruce Transitional Housing is there. They're paying rent, or supposed to anyway.
Yeah.
Right. So talk about that. What are the responsibilities of the residents of the Bruce?
Well, when you first move in, we'll let you get settled for the first week, and then we have a case manager, and you do a self-sufficiency plan for the first 90 days, and that's where you really get connected to services to help you find a job, food stamps, you know, food, medical, things like that. And that first 90 days, we don't make them pay anything because they come in, they don't have any money.
Right, that's why they're
anything.
there. Yeah.
And so generally by the time they hit 90 days, they're somewhere, have a solution, some kind of financial. Now, when they finally get, you know, even if it's through DSHS or get a job or whatever, and they bring us documentation of how much they get paid for a month, we only take 30% of that income. But no one ever pays more than $250 for a single room or $275 for a double room, depending on the family size. And then, you know, everybody that lives there has to do 2 chores a week, adults, because staff can't clean that.
I understand, yeah.
Building on a daily basis, and so that's part of the deal. And we have a resident council that is elected by the residents that meets with me once a week, and we talk about policy or create new policy or deal with any behavioral.
So they're policing themselves in many respects,
Yes.
right? And that helps. I mean, that's critical, right?
Yes, yes. It's kind of a democracy within itself.
That's good.
You know, which, you know, and we don't do anything too harsh, you know. You know, if somebody misses a chore, you know, they'll probably get an extra chore. And if it's a habitual problem, then they're going to have to do a chore every day so they won't do that again. So it goes pretty well there.
The emphasis on Bruce Transitional Housing is transitional. You're not going to move in and live there for years and years and years and years.
Exactly.
You are expected eventually to get on your feet again, get a little bit of seed money, understand life skills, budgeting stuff, and then
absolutely
out there. Yeah. So, and they understand that, right? The residents.
Yes.
This is not a flop house, and you will eventually not live here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So.
This is not permanent housing.
Right. That's the key. What's your occupancy right now? Are you completely full? Or?
We are completely full.
And that's actually bad news, isn't it?
Well, yes.
Because the need is there.
Because there's still people that call every single day, desperate.
Talk about
for some place to live, and it's freezing out there.
Yeah, and it's going to get colder and worse. Talk about the relationship between Bruce Transitional Housing and the governmental agencies who are empowered to help people in this kind of situation. You talked about food stamps, and you talk about DSHS and things like that. You guys are a conduit for a lot of these women because they don't know where to go and who to turn to, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
And is it a good relationship? Because can it be acrimonious at times with the holders of the purse strings, so to speak?
Yes, it can be a challenge. If there's been something in the past that, you know, maybe they owe some past money to DSHS or the government or something like that, that can hold things up. But we actually advocate for them and help them, you know, make phone calls, whatever, to help them, you know, get some help. And then we have Labor Ready, or People Ready, I guess it's called now, and WorkSource, and we work closely with them to help people get into jobs, DVR, other places.
The physical location of the Bruce is important, isn't it? Where it's at in downtown Wenatchee is a good thing, right?
Yes.
Because you're very close to services, you got Link, all that good stuff, right?
Yes. So. Yeah, we are a block away from, or less than that, from Link.
Now, what's the women with kids? Can you take 10, 12-year-old boys, things like that?
Yes.
That's important.
Yes, it is. We are the only facility in Wenatchee that will take boys over the age of 10. and other places just won't, because I'm not really sure why they don't.
But you have a lot of kids who go to schools, Wenatchee schools, whatever the case would be, or East Wenatchee schools. How do they, when they make that transition because of circumstances, they find themselves at the Bruce? They still got to go to school. What's your relationship with the Wenatchee School District, and how does that work?
We have a liaison who comes in and works with kids and gets them signed up, and they get to stay in the school that they came from. So they're still connected to their friends and stuff. And so this lady, Suzanne Stanton, makes sure that they get to the right bus. And we have 4 or 5 different buses that show up and pick up our kids. So they don't have to, because they live in transitional housing, they don't have to break their ties with their friends or anything.
And that's important,
like
because the one thing kids need at that point of their life, because life has just been upheaval, is stability. They need stability. They need structure, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And that's important. What's it like for when you see, I mean, we talked about, you know, a mom coming in, she's got 90 days where they don't, you know, you kind of just get used to the situation here. What about the kids? Is it really hard? Do you look at some of these kids' faces and it just breaks your heart sometimes?
Sometimes, but kids seem to take it more in stride than adults do, because adults internalize that, and you know, there's they feel humiliated and things like that.
Ashamed.
Yeah, and you know, things happen. I don't think there should be any shame around it, but things happen.
But there's light at the end of the tunnel. You are a success story. There's a lot of Bruce success stories, isn't there?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Give me an example outside of your own, which was very well done. Give me an example of a success story, Bruce Transitional Housing, that's not your own. Somebody found themselves in circumstances at the Bruce and now they're doing fine. Can you give? You don't have to use names. Just give me an example.
Well, there's one in particular, and she was there. She was almost at the end of her 2 years when I was there, and she became a minister in their church. She's in school now to become a social worker, just like I did, and she's taken in all of her grandchildren because her kids ended up addicted, and hopefully they can bounce back from that too. But she does a lot of work within the community outside of her church and ministry and stuff like that. And she was also, you know, mentally ill and traumatized, and a drug addict too. And she's doing some great things within the community.
Is substance abuse one of the major things that bring women there? I mean,
well, it's part of it.
Okay.
But not everyone. We have people that are mentally ill who've never been on medication or to therapy. We have people who are addicted, and we just have people who've just fell on hard times. And there's hope for everybody. Things can change for everybody quite quickly.
Lisa, where's the, funny question, where's your money come from? Where's your dough? Who funds it?
Well, we get the majority of our funding through grants. The city of Wenatchee gets funding for both Wenatchee and East Wenatchee, and that's distributed. And we have to, I mean, most of it's through grants and donations and stuff. We get a big part of our donations during this time of year that help us survive throughout the year.
Yeah, people get a little looser with their checkbook this time of the year, which is fantastic, but that's now, and there's February and March is still coming.
Well, and in the summer, you know, we're really tight with money and stuff. So we have to spend wisely with every little bit.
So how can our viewers help? What do we do? Can I just cut you a check and be done with it? Or, I mean,
well,
are there lots of different ways to help you out?
You can.
Okay.
But that would go to the WRC office next door to the Bruce.
Right.
But we have a Facebook page now, and there are links to that to donate money.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned the Women's Resource Center. Is the Women's Resource Center and Bruce Transitional Housing one of the same, two separate things? How does that work?
The Women's Resource Center, we just call it WRC now. That's like our board of directors, executive director, deputy director. They run the operations of all of us, because we don't just have the Bruce. We have Parkside, or part of Parkside, for chronically homeless people. And then we have permanent supportive housing for chronically homeless people. So there's a lot that they do. They don't just deal with Bruce, they deal with these other places too. And we have outreach people who every week they go out and they find homeless people that are living outside and stuff, and get their names, connect them to services, give them coats, foods, you know, tokens for the bus, you know, whatever they can do to help.
I've asked law enforcement, I've asked people, everybody from Tom Dees at serve Wenatchee Valley to almost everybody you can think of that has one way or the other their finger in this pie. Does Wenatchee Valley have a homeless problem?
Yes. Yes.
How do we solve it? I know it's not an easy answer, but what's your answer?
Well, affordable housing is the biggest problem. And because there is a lack of that. I mean, rents are so high right now, it's ridiculous. That a single mother and her 2 kids, you know, it's hard to pay first, last months to get into a place.
That's the hardest part, is getting in, right? First, last, and damage, boom, you're out to $2,000. And you don't have $2,000, you don't have $1,000, you don't have $100.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And so that's the biggest thing. And plus, we do not have enough shelters or anything for homeless people.
Is it just a matter of start building and drywall, or is it bigger than that? I mean,
it's pretty big right now. We do need, I mean, we need a lot more affordable housing. Like when I started working after I graduated college, my mom kept saying, "So when are you moving? When are you moving?" Because my rent is like $550. But for the same apartment I live in now, it's $775. I mean, and this is not, you know,
you're not living in an estate.
Absolutely not. This is a small 1-bedroom apartment, and I'm not moving until I buy a house, because I could probably afford it, but I don't want to pay $1,200 a month for something that's probably a little worse than what I'm living in already.
And then there's this, and I'll just mention this. Okay, yeah, we can build affordable housing, but the tracts of land where you could build an affordable apartment complex is off the beaten path.
Oh yeah.
You know, you go out to Old Station or over at East Wenatchee where there's larger plots of land, and you build it, but then the people who need to live there, they're a long way from a Link bus stop or anything like that, or their jobs.
Yes.
So that's tough. We got about 2 minutes left. Let's end on a high note. Christmas, Les Schwab Community Toy Drive, firefighters. Talk about all of that stuff.
Oh wow. Well, we were fortunate enough to be the recipient of the Les Schwab first annual Community Toy Drive, which has been pretty awesome. And that we have over 30 kids, and so parents that live at the Bruce, they can't afford to buy gifts for their kids, and so this is a huge help to us for that to be going on. I forgot the other one.
The firefighters are going to do the toy thing and all that good stuff?
Yes, the firefighters contacted me right after Thanksgiving, and so this week on Thursday, they will be bringing Santa Claus to the Bruce, and our kids will get to sit on Santa's lap and be given a gift, and it's going to be, I can't wait.
Oh,
I can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, I can't wait for that. Back in the day, they had an Adopt a Family program. Do they still have that?
We do have that going on. It's called Ornaments of Hope. We have all but 10 families that have been adopted, and so call us at the WRC or the Bruce, or you can probably find out about it on our Facebook page, because we still have 10 families that their kids, we have little wish lists and everything.
Well, we've been participating for this for years. Basically, you adopt a family, you get a list. This is Johnny, he's 7, and these are the things that he likes, and this is Sarah, and she's 5, and she wants this, this, and this, and you simply go out and you buy them. Toys.
And we have a $50 limit on everything.
But it's a great way to do it. Yes. Every kid needs to have a brand new toy or a bunch of brand new toys.
Oh, yes.
Under the Christmas tree. at Bruce Transitional Housing. In the short time we have left, again, we're talking to Lisa Abel. How do people help? How do people get a hold of it? There are people who are watching the show right now that says, I want to give Lisa and the folks at Bruce a helping hand over the holiday season. How do they go about doing it?
Just call the Bruce or the WRC, and we can talk to you and put you in touch with the right person on how to do that.
Or probably just go to the Facebook page and message too. That would help.
Yeah,
so.
The Facebook page is probably the best way, but the WRC is receiving phone calls from everyone, and then they can scan and fax or email you the Christmas lists that way.
It's a great idea. And keep in mind, this is, it's the holiday season. As I mentioned before, people are a little looser with their money, as they should be, but the issues that face Bruce Transitional Housing are year-round.
Yes.
And we don't want to forget about you guys in April, May, and June.
Absolutely.
So can you come back and see me sometime?
I sure will.
I'd love it. Thanks for coming on board, Lisa.
Keep
up the good work.
And
best of luck. And hopefully, it's a pipe dream, but hopefully one of these days she'll be out of a job because we won't need to do it anymore. That's a good goal to have, isn't it? It really is.
Yes, it is.
Everybody have a great Tuesday. My guest tomorrow, Festival Administrator Darcy Christofferson from the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival. Until then, have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.